Video games have always been a way to escape reality and immerse oneself in magical worlds, experiencing unforgettable adventures. RPG games excel at this task as they provide a storyline with a fixed ultimate goal, but the player determines how to reach the finale and what kind of hero to become. In this video, I will tell you about interesting RPG games that many have already forgotten. I'll start with Ghost of a Tale, an atmospheric action RPG with elements of adventure and stealth, telling the story of a brave little mouse captured by rat Imperials. Throughout his adventure, the mouse must overcome various obstacles, evade guards, find keys to numerous doors, and even disguise himself as an Imperial. Every aspect of the game is well developed, but special attention is deserved by the stealth mechanics. The mouse can make noise, influenced by the character's strength, speed, the surface he moves on, and more. Barrels and chests scattered throughout levels provide hiding spots. Enemies can be distracted or stunned. The RPG elements are also quite robust, as the mouse can discover various outfits affecting his stats, complete quests, level up, and even learn new skills. Divine Cybermancy, hardcore first-person action RPG set in a cyberpunk world with a psychedelic storyline depicting a dark future for humanity. The main character possesses both physical and mental abilities, along with cybernetic implants that can be upgraded. Unlike most shooters, there are no health packs or gradual health regeneration for the character. Until other technologies are acquired, health can only be restored through alchemy, a process capable of turning any item left by enemies into a health boost. Legend of Grimrock 2, old-school RPG with grid-based movement in a dungeon-crawling style where characters can only move forward, backward, left, and right. No diagonal movements, jumps, or crouches are available. Players control a party of 4 characters stranded on an unknown island, which is a vast labyrinth filled with monsters and intricate puzzles. The game world allows for the search of hidden treasures with rare loot, fishing, and puzzle solving. There are 5 main races and 8 selectable classes in the game. Moving through the world shifts the entire group, meaning control is over a single cell consisting of 4 characters, each of whom can be individually upgraded and equipped. Necropolis, an adventure RPG where players must find their way out of a monster-infested and trap-laden procedurally generated dungeon, either alone or in cooperative play with 3 friends. The game is extremely hardcore, lacking save points, even akin to Dark Souls. Upon death, players have to start the game from the very beginning. The weapons found in the game lack specific characteristics, and potions act randomly. The game features an appealing design and a dark atmosphere that leaves a lasting impression. Raven's Cry, a game about the residents and pirates of the Caribbean islands, set in the ambience of the second half of the 17th century. The main idea of the game is to portray pirates closer to historical truth, depicting them as dark and ruthless villains. Players navigate their ship through an open world, undertaking various tasks and advancing the main storyline, engaging in both fencing duels and naval battles with cannon fire and boarding skirmishes. Tower of Time, a fantasy RPG with a real-time combat system and some unique gameplay features. Players have access to 7 character classes that can be combined in parties depending on the game's conditions. Characters possess unique skills that can be upgraded. Character progression differs from the typical experience system. Players must search for ancient manuscripts in locations that unlock new abilities, encouraging thorough exploration of the game environment. The game also includes strategy elements, requiring players to develop and improve a hub city that serves as a training ground for heroes, an equipment warehouse, and other functions. Deathspank, an outstanding example of merging various genres, Deathspank combines fantasy world exploration with the quest for a powerful artifact. The gameplay involves traversing a fantastical world, visiting cities, dungeons, conversing with inhabitants, solving puzzles, and leveling up the character and outfitting them with the most powerful armor and weapons. The game features a diverse arsenal, including swords, axes, hammers, each with different characteristics. Mixing various attacks is rewarded with the filling of a super attack gauge. On Epic, players take on the role of Daniel, who, under strange circumstances, finds himself in an ancient and dangerous castle consisting of over 200 rooms, some of which are secret and others accessible only with keys that need to be found. Monsters and traps await in almost every room, but players can also discover useful items such as weapons, over 100 types divided into 7 groups, as well as more than 70 spells, potions, and magical objects. Arx Fatalis. Following a global cataclysm, the sun gradually began to fade, causing a sudden drop in temperature. The races inhabiting the game world decided to unite for mutual survival in underground cities. Players assume the role of a prisoner tasked with delivering crucial information to the King of Humanity. The fate of the entire planet depends on this information. In addition to a classic combat system with regular attacks and parrying, the game features a unique magic control system. To cast spells correctly, players must draw shapes in the air with the mouse, activating different abilities. The game also incorporates a realistic physics model. For example, cooking requires tossing food into a stove. Enclave. At the beginning of the game, players can choose which storyline to follow with 2 available campaigns, one for the light side and another for the dark side. In the first, players start their journey from prison and rise from the bottom, so to speak. In the second, players take on the role of a mercenary working for a powerful mage seeking to harness the power of an ancient creature. Players complete quests, gather higher quality equipment, and explore new locations. The game features a rather hardcore gameplay with only 1 save available per level. Overall, the game offers an interesting world, 2 storylines, and a variety of weapons and equipment. Archangel, an action RPG where players must determine the fate of humanity. The hero acquires an ancient sword of light and sets out to fight against evil. In addition to a basic but solid storyline and the choice of one of 2 classes at the beginning of the game, there is a mix of weapons from different eras, ranging from swords to guns and rifles. In Archangel, players travel through 3 worlds: medieval, the future in 2039, and the realm of darkness. Fighting against darkness is possible using both standard weapons and special abilities. Rune, an adventure-action RPG based on Norse mythology, focused on melee combat and exploration. Players have access to various types of close combat weapons, both real and fantasy. Shields are of great importance with their own health, which can degrade over time. Shield health is reflected in yellow on the screen. On their journey, players encounter various enemies and creatures as well as explore 25 worlds before reaching the main boss. The game also supports local area network or online multiplayer. Venetica, an unusual blend of a slasher and a classic third-person RPG set in the fantasy Venice of the 16th century and its surroundings. Death in this world is a position appointed by the council, carrying out its orders. The Chosen One gains immense power and supernatural abilities. The game world is divided into corridor-like locations. Quarters safe during the day fill with various bandits and monsters at night. The heroine often descends into city catacombs and embarks on journeys to the afterlife. Death plays a unique role in the game. Killing enemies grants the heroine twilight energy, and with enough of it, she can resurrect upon death. When this happens, the protagonist enters a slowed-down time state, allowing her to move to a safer position. While Venetica has a linear plot with one ending, the game includes numerous side quests and secret locations. Drakensang, a third-person perspective role-playing game set in a fantasy world with vibrant and expansive locations reminiscent of Fable. The game offers a choice of 12 character classes, each with unique features not only compared to each other but also in relation to the race you choose. For example, forest elves can communicate with animals and plants, dwarves have the ability to find precious stones, and necromancers can easily resurrect fallen warriors and use them as their skeleton army. One distinctive feature of the game is the companion system. By choosing a companion for your challenging journey, you gain not just a soulless combat unit, but a fully fledged personality with strengths and weaknesses, a character, a past, and their own opinions on everything happening. Loki, Heroes of Mythology, an action RPG set in a mythological environment. Players take on the role of one of four heroes: an Egyptian mage, a Norwegian warrior, an Aztec shaman, or a Greek female warrior. The heroes must align with pagan gods and, with their help, defeat the Egyptian god Set, who is causing chaos on Earth. Experience is used to level up 5 skills earned through monster slaying and quest completion. The quests are well designed, with a variety beyond simple kill and fetch tasks. The game's main feature is the random level generation and the offering of various gifts to gods in exchange for different passive skills and spells. The game also features a multiplayer mode that allows cooperative play and one-on-one battles. Legend, Hand of God, an action RPG set in the fantasy world of Eris, where a few years before the events of the game, gnomes discovered a very old portal and opened it, unleashing hordes of demons upon the world. To save the world, humans, elves, and gnomes unite to drive out the demons. However, they fail to close the portal, only sealing it. The game's events unfold several years later, when the seal is broken and demons once again infiltrate the world. The main feature of the game is a fairy, also your mouse cursor. Throughout the game, she accompanies the main character, constantly exchanging remarks on various things, from valuable loot dropped by monsters to ways to destroy different monsters. Hunted, The Demon's Forge, a linear game with a linear plot, a dark medieval atmosphere, hordes of powerful enemies, and a couple of major bosses. Players can play as either a warrior or an archer, switching between them at certain points in the campaign and leveling up the heroes by exchanging crystals for new abilities. The concept lies not in solitary dungeon runs, but in cooperative play for 2 players. Essentially, the entire game is built around joint adventures. Playing as each of the 2 heroes is equally interesting, and they complement each other well. After all, a large portion of enemies requires the participation of both fighters in the battle. If cooperative play is not for you, you can also play solo, with artificial intelligence controlling the other hero. Sudeki, an adventure-action RPG in third-person view. The game is set in a fantasy world where a war is raging between the City of Light and the City of Eternal Night. There are 4 main heroes in the game, each with their own skills and abilities. Each character is effective in their time and element. The world of the game is linear, consisting of 3 regions: light, dark, and the between worlds, all of them corridor-like with branching paths. By killing a certain number of enemies, the hero increases their level and receives a special sphere for characteristics or spell purchases. Each hero can only carry their type of weapon, which has 2 parameters: damage and critical hit chance, and several slots for additional improvements. Equipment cannot be found, but it can be upgraded as you progress through the storyline. Silverfall, a French-Ukrainian role-playing game with the main feature of the conflict between 2 worlds, the fantasy and the technological. Depending on the completion of certain quests, the hero can harness the power of elven forests or the firearms of dwarves. The external world also evolves, with mechanical monsters and Silverfall gradually becoming adorned with steam boilers or century-old oaks. Traveling through the world can be done in a small company of companions. Upon death, the character loses all items except gold, and to recover them, one must return to the place of death. The game supports both single-player and cooperative play. The Cursed Crusade. Inherited from the hero's father are Templar equipment and a family curse that grants the ability to move into hell and command its forces. Despite an original character development system and an intriguing plot, the game may discourage players with quickly breaking weapons. After each clash, heroes must search for something new. However, there is a variety of weapons: maces, axes, swords, and scythes are prevalent. The hellish side of the world somewhat resembles the movie Constantine. Buildings turn into burning ruins, and people turn into monsters. We often have to visit here. Heroes can heal each other, break down walls, and throw fireballs. Moreover, experience in hell gives our heroes more. The speed and power of our heroes also double in the underworld. Bound by Flame. The game offers us the role of a hero possessed by a demon who was summoned unsuccessfully. The interaction with this demon is the main intriguing element of the game. The demon from the underworld is a fully independent personality and regularly communicates with the hero throughout the game. The more often you agree with the demon, the closer the hero will come to the dark side. The voice becomes rougher, the skin darkens, real horns appear over time, and peaceful inhabitants will scatter in fear. The hero's companions also prevent boredom. Each has its thoughts, goals, and something to tell. The character types are interesting. We get to talk to an elf who betrayed his own tribe, an immortal spirit changing bodies for many thousands of years, and a somewhat foolish mercenary speaking of himself in the third person. The stories are interesting, but their linear development is disappointing. Fairy: Legends of Avalon. This game transports us to the mythical Avalon, inhabited by hundreds of magical creatures. The player assumes the role of a fairy or an elf, tasked with the mission of saving the world, the only means of movement being flights. The game's richness lies in the extensive selection of world locations. Each world is a new story divided into several dozen quests. Some are mandatory to progress the plot, while others can be skipped. Often, we are given several options for solutions. The consequences of these decisions affect how secondary characters and inhabitants of the worlds perceive the hero. The dialogue system here is reminiscent of what we saw in Mass Effect. There are positive and negative responses, determining how much others will respect the hero. The combat system corresponds to all the traditions of turn-based role-playing games. Rise of Argonauts. A mix of action and role-playing game where players lead a squad of the best warriors in Greece aboard the legendary ship Argo. The game lacks attribute tables or health bars except for the main character. Everything must be determined based on the overall appearance of enemies, the number and depth of their wounds, their behavior, and so on. The hero is patronized by 4 deities on his journey. Each deity can be appeased by various actions, choosing the right phrases in dialogues and performing feats. In return, the gods allow learning a skill from their arsenal. Nearly all the superstars of ancient Greek myths will help us in our adventures. Relationships with companions are very similar to a scaled-down version of Mass Effect, and the ship Argo plays the role of Normandy. Wandering through its few cabins and talking to the crew, you can learn their opinions about the situation and witness some mini-scenes, but don't expect side storylines or additional quests. The story unfolds linearly. Occasionally, you are allowed to choose the order in which to complete missions, but nothing more. Despite this, the plot is the strongest aspect of the game. Numen: Contest of Heroes. An action RPG set in a Greek setting where developers attempted to showcase character development over time. Similar to Fable, the early stages of the game depict the hero's childhood in their hometown. Here, through the use of a bow, sword, or magic, the game calculates which weapon you've used more to defeat enemies, and when you leave your homeland, it determines the hero's specialization. From this point, you can only sell weapons and equipment of another class to traders. After determining the class, the next step is choosing a deity protector. Everything that happens next depends on these decisions. Divine mentors differ in bonuses, techniques, talents, and abilities that you can acquire from them. The game style, quests, and secret locations also vary depending on the chosen deity. Quests here are not always simple kill and fetch tasks. Many quests, characters, and enemies are available only at certain times of the day. Lord of the Rings: War in the North. An action RPG with cooperative gameplay for up to 3 players, set in the universe of the Lord of the Rings. Players take on the roles of heroes and embark on a journey through various locations of Middle-earth. The game does not retell the familiar stories of the original trilogy, but explores events that unfold parallel to the main plot of the books, expanding Tolkien's universe. The game features 3 characters, each with unique abilities, excelling in different aspects. Along their journey, the heroes encounter various monsters, and at the end of each level, they face a boss battle followed by the opportunity to obtain valuable loot and upgrade their characters. That's all. Thank you for watching. The Image Game channel was with you. Have a good day.